What's up, everybody? Gary Simon here. Today we are doing a review of yesterday's submissions for our intro to responsive design video. Now, there's a lot of good entries, but almost every single one I did do a revision on, so there's definitely a lot to learn. And also tomorrow we're gonna stick with the theme of responsive design, except tomorrow's challenge is gonna be a bit more difficult. So as always, make sure to subscribe. Check out the 30-day UI UX playlist. Make sure to watch that from the beginning. We're doing this for 30 days straight, and let's get started.
Alrighty, let's get going. I got this river thing like flying behind my head. What is going on? I find these cool like loops, video loops, and I just put them on random. Okay, anyways, let's just get started. All right, here's the very first one, Nahil. Okay, so I had no problem pretty much with the tablet version. Pretty much kept the same concept, everything centered here, good call to action, and then just basically stack these on top of each other. There's only two of them. I assume, obviously there'd be a third because the original had three. In the actual mobile version, they did the same thing. They actually added three. Now, the only change I made in the mobile, now this is my revision. I didn't change anything up top, but the text, this text is a bit too large and it's competing with the hero section. Even though when you were scrolling down on a phone, you wouldn't see them at the same time, you still want to maintain good typography in terms of visual hierarchy, typographic visual hierarchy as they call it. And so I scaled it down from 36 to 25, and it just, it flows a lot better like that. And you're able to save space as well. You can see there's just much longer. Sorry, that's my phone. All right, let's check the next one. Eric, let's check this one. Oh, guitarist. I like other guitarists. So there's just too much white space between No More and Pet Hair, so I tidied those up right here. Also, not enough white space on the very inside right container. So notice mine, it just looks so much better. It feels better as a nice, rounded, well-balanced, button that has their life together. This over here, this button, they're probably an alcoholic like I once was, and it's just something feels off, right? Okay. Same thing over here. Oh, another thing. You want to avoid this as well. So, just single row stacked cards, that's fine, but you want to extend them out because you have a lot of empty white space on the right and left, and it just breaks the overall flow of the layout. Over here, it's everything's extended out nicely, and in things are just skinny. So it flows better on here, as you can see, these changes that I made. Okay, the next one was this. Okay, now for some reason, this person did not adjust the font size, so it just says get it with an exclamation point. That was probably an accident. I scaled that back down. Other than that, everything else here seems fine, so I didn't make changes elsewhere. Next person is Sujoy. This one, I really didn't have too much of a problem with what was happening, so I left them both as is. One thing, though, that you need to be kind of concerned about or wary is not to try to change too much. I can notice like this right here, this background panel behind the tag is different. And also, the tag text styling is different as well. You want to avoid that. So notice how in their iPhone version, it's not bold and it's not caps. So why change it though between these two? So I would definitely keep them consistent as well. So I can see they're utilizing a slider here. That is fine. I have no problem with that as long as it's automatic as well. Don't require people to have to click that, click through or drag through. And over here, everything else is looking solid. You just, you take those original three from the desktop version. So this is the original version. You can see how they were originally stacked 1, 2, 3. And then it makes sense just to collapse all those instead of columns into rows. Next person is Jassim Alfonso. All right, so this person actually did something interesting. They rotated the head of the dog to kind of create some more room. And you could do that. You could do that with that responsive web design in CSS. That is completely achievable, and I have no problem with that. Now I did change obviously something, because I'm trying to look at it. What did I change? I'm trying to remember what exactly I changed here. Oh, yes. So right here, these right and left buttons, they're high contrast. I prefer to keep them lower contrast if you're going to do something like that. Now, if you're going to do something like that, make the transitions automatic so that they don't have to click on them as well. And that's achievable through JavaScript and even CSS itself. And then here is this version, the phone version, which I don't have too much of a problem with. I would extend these out just a bit further so you have a little bit more space to put more type, and then that way it reduces the vertical height of the section. Next up is Amir. Okay, so Amir has done a good job, but a little bit too sparse, all right? A lot of white space around here. I kind of made things a little bit larger with the type, moved things up a bit, and just tidied it up so that there's not so much empty white space. And then right here, same concept with the mobile phone version as well. Just kind of made things larger, more spaced out, works out. All right, so next one's from Jasmine, and I did not like how these are so disconnected, so far apart. Because No More just kind of sits on its own. It's like, no more what? Well, pet hair. Okay, I get it now, but you kind of want those to be, just there's no reason to kind of diverge too far away from what the original design was. So these are the changes that I made here. And then another thing, this is the first time I encountered this, and I'm glad somebody did it because they did it incorrectly. So whenever you have something like this, where you have 3 columns, right, 3 cards, right, and you want to collapse them into, you have enough room for 2 of them, but then what do you do with the 3rd one? Well, you just throw it down here in the middle. I don't like that approach. This is the approach that I like. All right, you literally change the physical layout of the card so that if you have a card that needs to occupy 2 columns or 3 or whatever, you can do so. You can, and this is all achievable in CSS, responsive design through media queries. And so notice how I took the little dog picture and I took it from the center top and just put it inside the card, create a 2-column layout like that. So you have to start thinking like that as well. And then here is the phone version, which I kind of tidied things up just in the same way I did with the tablet version as well. Also, notice a lot of line height here, so it feels disconnected. So I've tidied those up and brought the line height in closer. Notice how much room it saves as well. Next up is going to be Brendan Joseph. All right, this one is solid. I didn't see anything that needed changed. It's all solid. It all works. Very nice. Next up is going to be from Gabriel, and this one did something interesting. I'm glad this person did this as well because it's a no-no and it's a common thing. Now, this is the original layout, the desktop design that you're provided with. Now, notice the cart button has this particular kind of grayscale. There's no color. Well, he decided to add color to it. And that is something that you wouldn't do typically in 99 out of 100 times. There's no reason to change the color specific for tablet. So keep it the same color like I did here, okay? Outside of that, everything else looked pretty solid. I don't think I changed anything else. And then the iPhone version, again, same concept. Keep the the original color, but everything else here. This is solid too. This could work. As long as these are large enough and you're not too small on your phone. It's kind of hard to see that here of what it would look like. The size of the font is 15 on the small side for sure. So I would not go smaller than that. Otherwise, it's solid. Another person is Malik. Now, too much vertical white space, and also down here, an issue where this container is just kind of thrown over here to the side. It's not centered. You want to avoid that. So what I did is just tidy everything up, bring it back. What's cool is like this, you can actually overlap the type and it creates a nice kind of like a layering effect. And you could still read hair, so no more pet hair. And the hair is over hair. That's awesome. I like that I did that. Outside of that, the bottom section with the testimonials, notice I just extend this all the way out. And now you can see the other one. It helps to have a visual indicator. There's another card off to the side. So I integrated that as well. And then I didn't bother doing the revisions here because it's all pretty much the same concept. You got to tidy this stuff up a little bit closer together and such. All right. Next up is Ziad, I think. That's how you pronounce it. Okay, so one thing that I noticed off the bat here is, again, too much line height on these. So I took it from 32 down to 24, and it really just tidies them up better. And also, I kind of noticed it now. I must not notice it before. We should have a little bit more inner white space or padding on the roof get now button. All right, now let's check out this part. All right, another issue here is this is the original that was submitted. Notice it's not equal white line height on the inside, and it's also not, what'd you get? A line on the bottom. Sorry, my brain's not working. So here's what I did with this. We did the layering effect again, and everything is a little bit more consistent here. No more pet hair. This works. And then I think everything else here was pretty solid. I did reduce the size of the or the colons, or the quote rather. Sorry, these aren't colons. These are quotes. And I made them quite a bit smaller. Otherwise, they're just kind of a little bit on the large side. No big deal. Muhammad is the next person. All right, so no more, and pet hair kind of feels small and sparse, right? So I made them larger. I kind of went with this theme where we had the skew. The original design has this skewed element right here. So just to play off of that, I did this as well, and that works as well, and it's easy to read, so you can do fun stuff like that. They also did the same thing as the other person, where they didn't adjust the card size with the one that's on its own row, so I extended that out. And then this one, again, same concept. I would just replace this with this version, except make it smaller. Everything else is good here. All right, we're at almost our last one. We have just a couple more. All right, so NK Rohit. I didn't like the white space between No More and Pet Hair, so I just made it its own single headline. No More Pet Hair. All right, outside of that, everything else looks solid here. And then, same concept here. This looks solid, I would imagine. Okay, so this is like a slider type of thing as well, which works. Next up is Sejoy. All right, so No More Pet Hair. Again, that's the concept right up here that from the above one that I had. And I didn't really see anything that really needed adjusting here with these. Very solid. And then Fahad Anwar. All right, let's check this one. Again, the skinny card issue. Notice how much better it just looks when you fill it out. And again, we've already gone over this, so you know I'm beating the dead horse a little bit. Here is their original phone version, a little bit too small on the headline, so I boosted that up quite a bit. Yeah, and down here, definitely, there's a lot of issues down here. Extended letters or line height like this, with this being real close, really throws off the flow of the layout. So really what I decided to do is just kind of revamp them. It should look more like this version right here. And that is it. So hopefully those of you who've submitted, those of you I've covered obviously have helped you, hopefully. And those of you who maybe tackled on your own, it's still worth paying attention. Hopefully you did, so that you can gain more knowledge and experience in this stuff. So tomorrow we're back at it again. I'm not even exactly sure what I'm going to cover yet. I'm taking this day by day, but definitely since I've committed to this 30 days, 30 video thing, we'll have a new video tomorrow and we'll learn something new, probably with another challenge as well. All right, make sure to subscribe. Check out DesignCourse.com, especially if you want to learn more about UI UX in my interactive UI UX course. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.